Don't we all at the end of the day? Hello, and wow, amazing! Hello, my wonderful friends, and welcome to another episode of Arlocast. This is our 4th episode. That's a whole month of Arlocast. We made it a month, and we are still very pleased with how everything is turning out, and we're hoping that next month can be somewhere in the ballpark of as good, maybe, somewhere along those lines. Well, we've got a heck of a show this week. Our first guest is one of the biggest Pokemon experts you're likely to find. And if you cross him, he will not hesitate to tell you why your most hated Pokemon is actually incredibly deep and lore-rich. Please welcome Lockstin.
Hi.
Hello.
I liked that intro. That was very cool. And it's true. I would absolutely do that.
It is, absolutely. We have a lot of disagreements about what makes a Pokemon cool. But that's all right. So tell everybody who you are and what you do and where you do it.
Well, I'm here in my office, which is in Oregon, and I'm surrounded by Pokemon stuff because I talk about the origins and design inspirations of Pokemon, and sometimes I talk about the lore of Pokemon, and sometimes there's like a Sonic or a Mario video, but those don't do as well, so I talk more about Pokemon. It's neat.
Yeah, you did more like theory stuff before, but then just kind of like the Pokemon thing just kind of happened, right?
Yeah, it's like all of a sudden I got on trending with the Pokemon thing, and so all of a sudden, like within a week, I gained another 100,000 subscribers, and that they were all Pokemon fans because it was a Pokemon video. And so from that point forward, like, oh, a Pokemon video, it does more than twice as good.
You lean into
and
it.
Like, I'm glad it's Pokemon and not something like something that doesn't have as many characters.
I know, my gosh, there's no end.
Because like, what Mario? What am I gonna do being a Mario YouTuber?
There's nothing there. There's no lore or anything.
The origins of this one character that was a side character in one of the Paper Marios. You know?
I know exactly. Our second guest has a name that sounds like a type of food, but I figure I should probably ease into the jokes about it and sort of like gauge his annoyance level before I really get rolling. Please welcome Barry Kramer.
Thank you. Go all in with the puns, please.
I really actually, that was really the main one. Just like, I call you Very Barry Crunch on the Discord yesterday.
Yeah, that's good.
Barry,
I like that.
Barry Garcia. I don't know, but that's already, yeah, okay, well, that's the end of that. What do you do, and where do you do it?
I do stuff on the internet. I stream a lot. I upload to my YouTube channel maybe once a year, and I have a lot of fun doing it. Maybe someday I'll put out 2 videos a year.
That would be good. I look forward to all of those videos. I very much do. Both of you guys, I really love your content.
Thank you.
Oh, I just realized that's what you meant by where do you do it. I do it on YouTube.
Oh, yeah, okay. Well, I guess that was kind of obvious, but yeah, all right.
Yeah.
I like the way you answered it, though. From my office. Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like I get more literal answers than anything whenever I ask that question.
Mm-hmm.
So how you guys doing today? Lockstin, I didn't even let you answer the question before I just went into the next thing. How are you doing today?
Oh, I'm doing just fine.
Barry,
it's not hot anymore. That's nice.
Right.
Yeah, seriously. It was like massive heat wave going all the way up the West Coast right now.
Mm-hmm. My AC is going to kick back on at some point, and I'm hoping I set up my mic properly. Yeah, doing good. Just hanging out. Think about video games, as I always do, 24/7.
You know what? That's perfect. That's exactly what we're looking for on Arlocast. And the select few people who are patrons and who are listening to this might get a little like repeats because Austin was Lockstin. Sorry, real name spoiled. Dox him.
Oh gosh.
Doxed. No. He was on episode.
Just wait till you find out my real name.
I know, right?
Sorry.
It's gonna be a storm. We did like an episode 0, like kind of a dry run. So how do we like bring up those stories again, but like make it seem like we haven't already talked about those stories and laugh about them and stuff and make it all seem fresh, you know?
Oh, well, don't worry. I've already forgotten everything.
It'll be fresh to me.
Oh, perfect.
Yeah. That's why I'm here.
Lockstin and I actually have a pretty long history that, for people who don't know, I kind of got my start, when I started out, I had what was it? Like 250 subscribers. Like 250 period. Like that's the end of the number or whatever. But then we did some collaborations, and that kind of got me a couple extra thousand over from his channel. And that kind of they got my foot in the door, really kind of got the ball rolling. So that's always the special history that we share.
I will forever cherish the moments.
Yes, we've also done some cons together. Some really, we did PRGE, and we did PAX West and a couple of SAT Gamers Expos. We've had fun at cons.
Yeah, I'm excited to do those again finally, someday, in the far future.
Yes, someday. I don't know. I really don't know when. Kind of was hoping it would be this year, and then it was like, well, maybe the end of the year. And even now, it's kind of like, I really don't know. But, oh, well. And then I suppose Barry and me, we don't have as much of a history, but it doesn't matter to you because you stream all the time. But for me, it was like a big notable thing. Oh, I was on one of Barry's streams. It's the first time I've ever done any kind of streamy thing. And it was just like a drop in the bucket.
And for me, it was Tuesday.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
But that was a lot
it
of
was
fun.
super fun. We played some Monster Hunter. It was a great time.
We played Monster Hunter. It was a good time.
Yeah. I mean, you say we don't have a huge history, but you did try to sneak in and take my old job.
That's true.
So
I did.
we do have that.
It's true. I did. When you left the Game Grumps, I tried to get in. I did a legitimate, real, not joking audition to take your place. It didn't work out.
I'm sorry to hear that.
No, it didn't.
But it seems like things are going pretty well for you, regardless.
They're going pretty all right. I'm still waiting for the call. Maybe they're just a couple years.
Yeah. Yep. They just got a stack of resumes.
Exactly.
They just got to. That was funny for me too, because that was one of those moments where, like, I'm sure you both can relate, where on the internet you're like, I exist in my own little bubble, and then that's like a moment of like, wait, Arlo knows who I am? That was just a weird circumstance with just seeing that video pop up. But yeah.
Yeah, I'm sure the first time that you responded to any of my things in any way, probably the same thing. Yeah, anytime anybody just like is aware of your presence, it's very surreal. It's very weird.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because it's a big internet, but also there's only the one internet, so wires get crossed all the times.
Yeah, especially in like the gaming. And it's so funny with the gaming community how you also have like these kind of little subsets, and sometimes they're so separated, but then you get these like threads kind of crossing over. I mean, like there's so many aspects of gaming that are just like people with millions and millions of subscribers, never heard of them.
Oh yeah, almost every day I find someone online that has a population like of a country that follows them.
Yeah.
I'm just like, I don't know them. I don't know anyone in their network or their crew, and just that's fine. That's great. I like that it's a big, diverse space. It's a good thing, but it's also it baffles my mind. So yeah.
Even just in the Pokemon community, it's crazy. I'll just occasionally just stumble on some YouTube channel, like 3 million subscribers, and like it's a Pokemon specific channel, but somehow I've never ever come across them until like they made big news.
That's really
or
weird.
Something.
Mm-hmm.
That's incredibly weird. That's super interesting. Well, one thing I would like to ask, and this has been requested by a few people, and I hearing it, I think I agree. I before jumping into the news too quickly, people like to hear a little bit of chat about you guys. So I'd like to know, what kind of stuff have you been kind of working on recently? You got any big projects planned? Anything fun you're doing? Barry, start with you.
Sure. Yeah. So I somewhat self-deprecatingly always refer to myself as uploading extremely infrequently, but it's true. And I'm kind of always working on like 3 or 4 video ideas at usually very early pre-production stages, and I've just been constantly trying to get better at actually moving stuff into production. So I'm doing that right now. I have a script that I'm like, okay, this is the one, moving forward with that. It's gonna be a new, it's my game design analysis series called How About This Game. I have a video in the works, which is tentatively about Ghost of Tsushima. I'll just say that. I'll put myself on the record, so now I have to do it. And it's fun because I've been kicking this video around since January. It's July now, and they just announced like a day or two ago that there's a new version coming out with extra content, and I'm like, oh god. So now I have to actually make this video fast, or else I have to rewrite the whole script. So
See, that's always the thing is like, do you do that or do you wait and then base it on that? It's a constant problem with like the video essays, constantly with the re-releases and ports and stuff.
Yep, and I know that like we've talked about it before, Arlo, privately through private channels. But it's like, you know, it's the idea of doing long-form scripted analyses and criticism or long-form reviews like you've done takes so much time and effort and brain power, and it's this constant struggle of like is this the right call when I could just like turn around a video in a day, and then that exists now, and I just consistently choose I'm gonna make everything difficult for myself, but I'm excited because I have a lot of really dumb ideas for things. I'm hoping to get them soon. I've been, like so many, working from home, but I'm excited to be hopefully back in the office space that I've been renting soon, and I expect that I'll be more productive, but we'll see. I stream a lot too, and that takes up a lot of my time, and I enjoy doing it, but I also love video production. I'm just really bad at moving scripts into production. Once they're in production, I'm good. It's just the script writing process drives me nuts.
It's hard. It can be for a long project. It is a massive. It's easy for me to say. I'm not. Kane's the one that edited it, but like my big fat review of Zelda, like nothing took longer than the script. I probably spent a year and a half just tinkering away at the script because it's just so. The bigger it is, the more exponentially difficult it is to make sure it's all cohesive. I mean, like it gets that much harder with each additional chunk that you add.
It really does. You get all these moving pieces, and if you're holding yourself up to a decent standard, it's like, I want there to be a consistent through line. I don't want there to be unnecessary fluff that's detracting from my points, but I have 50,000 things I want to say, so it's just that process of whittling away at what you're trying to say in the best, most efficient way to say it, and it's kind of why I like making simple, dumb videos from time to time, too. But then I'm like, but I want to pretend that I'm smarter than I am, so I'm going to spend a year and a half on a script.
That's why we do it. That's why we do the long ones, so everyone thinks we're smart.
Yeah. But that's been me.
That's great. That's awesome. And in fact, I will tell the viewers that me and you and I have another thing in common, and that is aspirations to get into game development, right?
It's true. Yeah, absolutely. I actually studied game design in school.
I can't even say I did that. I didn't even do that. I just play the games and I'm bad at them. And I'm just like, I could do this.
You're halfway there.
Yeah.
But yeah, I very rapidly fell into the world of YouTube after school. But that's long been my kind of long-term goal. And every now and then I boot up Unity and mess around with stuff. And every time it gets a little bit easier. And in the last couple months, actually, I've been trying to mess around with Blender and get a better grip on 3D modeling, because that's a whole endless minefield of 50,000 things to learn. And the last time I tried to learn 3D modeling, I got to UV unwrapping and my head exploded. But now it's going a little bit smoother, so trying to just learn. My philosophy is like, I want to be able to wear a lot of hats so I can either do something myself or effectively communicate with people doing things with me. That's key to me, but it's slow going and nothing is like actively in development. I just want to make dumb little things and experiment and maybe eventually something bigger, but that's long term.
Yeah, that's my problem. Is I just realistically know I've got too many things on my plate. I'm not going to be getting into the actual like the nitty gritty with the programming and all that stuff. And I know that's so beneficial. But for me, it's just like all I got is the ideas and the design. I can do the design. But the problem with that is if you can't do it yourself, it's like, okay, well, you got the money. Because that's the next step, is if you have to pay someone to do it for you.
Yeah, I think if you have the money and the vision and the communication skills, and you're willing to listen to your team when you're like, hey, can we add this? And they're like, sure, but that's an extra 8 months of work. You should listen to them when they say that.
Yeah.
So, yeah. But you don't have to know how to program if you know someone who does.
And you got the money to pay them.
But I'm trying to learn as much as I can, as I said, and it's happening. It's taken years to be able to get to where I'm at now, which is like I actually made a little program in Unity for a video I made back for April Fools. I did a Twitch stream where I had my Twitch chat write a script for a video, and so I actually coded a thing myself. It involved a lot of Googling, but it was just a thing where people could type in the chat and it would go into a program and it could randomly pick messages or people could vote. I made a bunch of different modes and could toggle between them. I added a 3D banana that spins in the background with the toggle. But I felt really proud because I was like, I made this. And then I released the code up on GitHub, and I was like, oh god, they're gonna see how poorly coded it is. And I got people saying like, it works. So, it's not the best code, but like it didn't blow up my computer. And I'm like, oh, maybe there's a chance. Maybe I can make things. So that was very, very affirming, I should say.
That's awesome. You learn all the stuff, and then I'll pay you the money, but I'm gonna pay you back. I'm a little short right now.
Just a very fancy IOU with like glitter and felt all over it.
Exactly. Lockstin, we haven't talked about this a lot. Were you saying that you're interested in game design and stuff too?
Yeah, we've been, right now I'm just learning, like game director tip stuff. I got like a group of people on Discord, and we're making just a Pokemon fan game ROM hack thing.
Nice.
But then
cool.
From that, we're taking the skills there and maybe, possibly, working on a Pokemon-inspired game that has actually completely different gameplay, but like the idea is the same. You're catching monsters, training them, and all that.
Yeah.
But yeah, like I know some programming languages, Java, C++, and after I learned those, I realized I don't want to do that. So I shied away from that side of things. But yeah, I'm super interested in game design, but it's a very on the side kind of thing because like YouTube takes so much time.
Yeah, ain't that the truth?
We do 2 scripted videos a week. Last week we did 3. So like it's a lot of work. We're a team of like 6 now.
Wow.
You got
which
6 people
you
now?
definitely need. Mm-hmm.
That is awesome.
Like 2 of them are freelancers that kind of help, but not all the time. But then the other 4 are full-on employees and always.
Wow. Yeah, see, that's the thing about games is like nothing in the world is cooler to me than the idea of making a game. Like at all, but like nothing in the world is more demanding and time-consuming than making games.
So much work.
It's like it feels like impossible that I'm ever going to actually be able to do it, but I can't tell myself I can't because I want it so bad.
Yeah, I think that's why the key is to just start small. Just try to make a really small little idea and be like, look, I push a button and it jump. And then you can go from there. But
yeah,
it is
in my programming classes we made Snake, and that was cool. It's like it's just Snake. It's been done a billion times, but like I made this.
You made
it's
this.
Neat.
Yeah, that's magic. If there is real magic in this world, it's that. It's programming. It's games. Just the idea you just make this thing happen. Like I can't even imagine how satisfying that must be.
It's satisfying. One of the first projects I was working on when I was first learning Unity a couple years ago involved farting. And
oh, interesting. Tell me more.
I implemented a system. It's a work in It's been in my back pocket of like maybe I'll make this fart game someday. But what I was really proud of was I made a list of fart sound effects, and when you press the fart button, it would randomly pick from the list of fart sounds. And not only that, I had it ensure that it wouldn't play the same fart sound twice in a row, because that's unsatisfying, when it's like you hear the same random noise back to back, and you're like, nah, it should know. So I made that happen. I was like, I feel like a god right now. These non-repeating fart sounds. I'm a programming wizard.
How many more times can we say fart before I gotta bump up the PG rating on this one?
PG 12. It's not quite PG-13.
And like in the little box that tells you like why it's rated, what it's rated, it just says farts. It just says the word fart.
It just says Barry talked about farts for a long time. I'm sorry.
Yeah. Well, moving on. Before we move forward, Lockstin, what are you working on right now?
Video-wise, I'm finally doing like a whole series about the Eevee line, Eeveelutions, that I've been putting off for 2.5 years. I was gonna do like a big Eevee month, and then I was like, nah, it's too busy. And then I put it off till next summer, and then it was the pandemic time, and I got sick right then and there. So, okay, we'll do it next year. And now we're already a month past the time I was originally planning on doing it this year. But we finally actually started it.
That's good.
So it's a series instead of a special month this time. I think I was just scared of the deadline of all of these videos are going to post in 1 month.
Yeah, that's
there's
hard.
8 of them.
I love the idea, but it's hard. It's like impossible to pull off.
Like, I had done a dragon month and a fairy month before, and those were fine, but that's because there's no, like, set amount. Like there's 8 evolutions, it's 8 videos, whereas dragon and fairy, that's broad enough that, like, yeah, it's like 4 or 5 dragon-related videos. There you go, that's all you need. So it's not as scary. I think it was just my own fear getting in the way. And COVID that one time, but mainly the fear.
Yeah, you know, that one time. Oh, jeez. I think it's safe to say that most people, especially in any kind of creative field, have just like a pretty good list of plans that were completely just dashed on the rocks when the pandemic hit.
Oh yeah, like we got our passports and everything. We were going to go to England because the most recent Pokemon game is based on England, and so we were going to fly there and go to all the locations that are like they have things inspired by like Stonehenge and stuff. So we were going to go record a whole video about Stonehenge at Stonehenge and then do the same for all the other landmarks, and it was going to be super cool. And then the same month that we got the passports was the first month of the shutdown. So
that's so
there goes that plan. And now it's too late because the new Pokemon game's coming out.
So like what region do you hope it's set in just so you can go there?
Like Gen 9?
Yeah, like, you know, the next just like is there any place cool in the world that like
it'd be cool if it was just Canada. If it was just Canada, it'd be cool because it'd be easy.
Yeah, that'd be easy. What's a place that like you'd be like, "Oh no, now I got to go there?" Like
anywhere that's hot. I have the faintest feeling it might be India next.
Wow.
We're one of the big secret videos we're working on right now is about how the mythical Pokemon of each generation vaguely hint towards the next game, because between Gen 3 and 7 they all do like perfectly, and right now the only mythical Pokemon is a baboon that has like Bengals and orangutan stuff. So I'm like, maybe that sounds jungle-y. There's also like Indian elephants and stuff in Galar, so like thematically it would make sense if it was India next, but we'll see.
Oh, that's interesting.
You heard it here first. If that happens, I'm a genius.
Yeah, exactly. And also don't tell anyone about this secret video he's working on.
Nobody. Also, it wasn't even me who came up with the idea.
No one make it first.
It was one of our writers. But like, it's a really good idea.
Yeah, that is a good idea. Well, I don't know about you guys, but I think it might just be time for What's in the News. Are there, gentlemen, are there any just like nice like news stories? I got like a little list of like stuff we could talk about here, but anything just notable that's come up recently? I know we just had E3. There's always going to be like, I don't know how many episodes we can go from E3 without someone just being like, well, I want to talk about Metroid some more. But Lockstin, why don't we start with you? Any fun news stuff going on right now?
Well, I just last night, or maybe it was this morning, read an article about how the Skyward Sword HD is adding an option to skip cutscenes and tutorials.
Yep, that's on my list. That's my number one thing right there. Because I don't know why they waited as long as they did, because we were all really nervous. Like, what does quality of life, what does it mean? Like, we need tangible stuff. And so now we finally have it still doesn't cover everything, but it covers a decent amount of stuff. It shows what it shows, like the sword just flashing instead of fire, like jumping out and stopping you. That doesn't mean it's never going to happen. I'm not convinced it will never happen. And that's like why I'm not really going to be sure until I sit down and play it myself. But that is good. That good thing.
Very, very good.
Yeah, they put out a trailer, I think today or yesterday, that goes through a bunch of the quality of life changes. And I'm with you, Arlo. It's like, yeah, I'm down for Fee to not jump out every 10 seconds, but is it just gonna ping you every 10 seconds until you're like, fine,
what do you want to know? The problem with the original is that she would give you that even when she didn't jump out, she'd give you that notification noise, but that noise would never stop. It would just just like forever. Oh my gosh, it was the absolute worst.
Just your Wiimote screaming at you.
Yeah, exactly.
For me, the thing that's huge to get confirmation about is the item descriptions when you pick things up for the first time. In Twilight Princess and Skyward Sword, those reset every time you turn off the game. but it's exponentially worse in Skyward Sword because there's a million things to pick up.
Yep.
And every time you start up the game, it's like, here's the definition of a butterfly from Merriam-Webster. But they confirmed that they actually make it so it's the first time ever for a save file. But also I realized it matters less because you can suspend the game on the Switch.
Yeah, that's true.
And if you're just doing a single playthrough without jumping around different games, you wouldn't really run into that problem. But I'm still glad that they thought about it.
I try so hard.
God.
Probably every day I wake up in the morning, the first thing I do is I go, how did they allow that to happen in the first place? I can't fathom it. And it's not even just like the description, but then like it'll like show it going into your inventory.
Yep, and then it shows you like you have 500 pieces of amber. Well, now you have 501, and you're like,
it's a mystery. If I ever get to meet Aonuma, that's all I'm gonna ask him. I'm just gonna be like, why?
What were you thinking?
Why did you think we needed that? Exactly, especially after it was already in Twilight Princess. Everyone's like, oh, maybe it's just like a glitch or something. Clearly not.
Yeah, so I'm happy for that. I'm very curious to try the analog stick controls for the sword, because I actually did not hate the motion controls.
Yeah,
it's one of the things I think actually worked about Skyward Sword. I don't like the game that much, but my biggest frustration with that is if you swing and it's the wrong angle and you're like, oh, I need to swing from the other side, you move your hand quickly to the left to then swing to the right, but that registers as a swing when you're just reorienting your hand. But using a stick, that shouldn't be a problem, so...
Yeah, that's pretty much always the problem with motion controls, is kind of like anything other than just aiming. Like with a cursor, anything else, there's going to be a margin of error, and that's why it makes it less ideal in so many circumstances. So many.
Yeah.
So yeah,
And
I'm really
also-
curious about that too.
And also just a lack of feedback, because if in your brain you swing horizontally and then the game it's a diagonal, the game can't really tell you, oh, your angle was a little bit off, so try it like this. It's just like, nope, you did a diagonal. And I'm like, no, I did a horizontal, how dare you? So it's a tough problem.
So you end up overcompensating, constantly overcompensating, trying to make it work, and that's really, really frustrating and tiring.
Yeah, and you don't know if it's the game or if it's you, because again, it's a tough feedback problem to solve.
Yeah, exactly. I also did not dislike the motion controls. I thought they worked fine and they were fun, especially at the time. I was still way more on the Wii train. I even in Twilight Princess, when it was just silly waggle, I still loved it because of the immersion, and just the further I get away from that, the less interested I am. So if anything, I think when I play it to review it, I'm probably just going to play it with regular stick and button controls just to see how the game works in that way. I mean, I have to assume it's at least relatively comfortable, and if not, then I don't know, maybe I'll switch back or something, but I'd like to try it.
Yeah, I'm probably gonna bounce around between the two and see how it feels, but we'll see. Again, my problems with the game are much deeper than quality of life, but I'm down to try it with those changes.
I think it could make a pretty big difference, because there's a lot to enjoy for me, and I think it's that the little annoying things make it harder to enjoy the good stuff. And then in turn, that makes the bad stuff kind of even worse, because then you're just annoyed all the time. So I'm really hoping even just addressing those little things is going to help me take in the whole game as its own thing and take the good and the bad and all that stuff without just scream. Because that's all I did my second playthrough, was just screaming. It was just mad. Just mad the entire time.
Yeah, no, you're definitely right. Those little things add up over time, especially when you're trying to get through it quickly for the sake of a review or something.
What else did they mention in that trailer? I think that's everything else is normal, 60 FPS and all that stuff.
Yeah, skipping
Faster
cutscenes.
dialogue, that's good.
And
oh, and I must mention, Barry has quite a good video about this game, about the sky specifically, right?
yes, if you want to watch someone yell about the sky in Skyward Sword for 10 minutes, there's a video that I made.
It's a good one. Was that your first one?
That was my first How About This Game, which now I think there's 4 of them. What a series. But
Hey, pretty good.
maybe soon to be 5. Famous last words. Yeah, no, it's me yelling about the sky in Skyward Sword, because that was my original inspiration for that video series. Was like, if I talk about an entire game, it'll take me a year and a half to write a script. So instead, I'll just focus on one specific part of the game and talk about that. And that video was great, and it was easy to write, and it was fun to make. And then every video since then, I've just taken on more and more problems and bigger, more messy problems that I can't just put in a little box and make a video about. Because I just don't want writing to go smoothly for myself, apparently. So I'm working on that.
Who does? No, I have that same thing. I always like the idea of just grabbing one little thing and just turning that into a video. But then I end up being like, oh, I don't know. I probably want to save it for the big fat review or something. I'll do it a million years. You know what I mean? Like, someday I'll do a video on this game, and that's when I'll talk about this little thing. But no, then I end up just doing nothing instead.
It was funny, though, because so that Skyward Sword video I made, you mentioned, a lot of it is me yelling about the color palette of the sky in Skyward Sword, because the clouds are kind of beige-ish, and they look great when you're on the ground, but when you're just in the sky, it just looks, again, I'm going to mention it again, it looks like farts. But when they showed added to the counter, when they showed at E3 the Breath of the Wild sequel, and Link's up in the clouds and stuff, and it's got this gorgeous color palette, I had a number of people tweet at me being like, look, they unpooped the sky. And I'm like, they did. They really did. It looks great. It's gorgeous.
Yeah, you know what? Like, I feel like I do remember kind of noticing it when I first played, but like my brain didn't really grab onto that idea. But like once I saw your video, you really kind of ruined it for me. Like now,
you're welcome.
You just gave me another thing to really not like about Skyward Sword, and it's like it felt like it was always there. You know, it's not like you planted it completely. I couldn't quite put my finger on like what wasn't right about the situation.
Well, that's my goal as a video creator. Is I want you to hate the things you thought you loved. That's me too.
Goal. That's the whole point. Is just like, take the
I want to
things
take
you
your
love
childhood
the most
from you. Everything you love is bad. But at the end of the day, all video games are bad. I'm just helping you understand that.
Exactly. So what else is going on in the news? Still not a whole bunch. Has anyone playing Kazuya?
Not yet.
Nope, not yet.
Mine is just a not. I really don't plan on it. I don't really play Smash anymore.
I think my Smash Ultimate playing peaked when Banjo came out because I was so excited. And
a lot of people are that way, yeah.
I'm a very casual Smash player, so I love watching the announcements and seeing everything that's added, but I'm not like, all right, time to hop on and do some ranked matches. I will be destroyed. But if I ever get to play Smash in person with people again, I'm there. I'll mess around with Kazuya.
Oh yeah, that's like my favorite thing to do. I just play casually with friends. Though my friends are all into it competitively, so it's kind of hard.
Right.
Oh, that's the worst. Yeah, if I ever play, it's definitely just playing casually with the friends. And I don't want to risk going into the whole discussion, but at least briefly, let's talk about how one more Smash fighter, one more, and all of these Mii costumes, like, what the heck? Giving that to us, like, second to last? That is messed up. That is some crazy expectations. Like, what on earth could it possibly be?
I don't know. My gut tells me it'll be a Nintendo character, just because nothing will make anyone satisfied.
Yeah, that's kind of where I'm at too.
If it's if it's another Fire Emblem character, then just RIP the internet. But if it's like an underrepresented Nintendo IP, and they're like, here's this weird character that controls completely different, I'll be down. Anything like that, I'm just like, I'm excited to see what it is. But I hope it's Professor Layton. Give me Professor Layton in Smash.
Yeah,
I want him to throw hint coins around.
I definitely, yeah, it does feel like no third-party character would really do it at this point. Unless they'd saved, like, Ridley or Banjo or some, like, crazy fan favorite, but, like, they kind of gave us most of them already.
Master Chief.
Yeah.
Is there anything that exists? Right. Is that even big enough?
I'd say Master Chief was big enough.
Maybe it is because it's, like, the competition.
See, imagining in my head, like, Master Chief finishes the fight, and then he's jumping around with plasma grenades. I'll be like, yeah, okay.
I won't be surprised at this point.
That'll be nuts, but, like, I just don't think I would feel anything.
Nothing would surprise me.
It's got to be totally left field.
Maybe Ultimate's just broken me. It's given me so much that I never thought was possible. And Sakurai is just, I don't know, unstoppable.
No, honestly, I am decent. I almost wish they didn't do all these extra DLC fighters. I'm kind of desensitized to it now.
Yeah.
It's like when you finally get everything you could ever want, it's just like, what's left? What's left to get? What's left for the next one? And that's why it kind of feels like maybe this really will be his last Smash game. But then, like, if that's the case, it kind of feels like the last fighter has to be like something meta. It's got to be like Master Hand.
Sakurai himself.
Yeah, exactly. It's got to be like
a flat PNG of Sakurai waving, and every button just destroys everyone on screen in one hit.
Yeah, exactly. Some kind of meta, something or other.
Just a playable Switch.
Yeah, I don't know. That is interesting.
Smash fan.
Oh, what? Remember the Switch dog when the Switch controller was first revealed?
Oh, yeah, the puppy face?
Yeah, the puppy face. What if that was the final character? Bring it full circle.
Yeah, I could do that. But then it turns out it's just like an Echo Fighter for Duck Hunt or something.
Oh, if the last character is an Echo Fighter. Well, okay, let me flip the question on you. What would make the internet the most mad?
Miss Pac-Man.
Yeah, that'd be pretty. Yeah, that'd be pretty good. Really, any Echo Fighter. I mean, definitely a Fire Emblem. I mean, it would be funny, but like that would make specifically.
I think if they have a sword, even if they don't use it, just a sword on their hip, it'll light the internet on fire.
Yeah, probably. It would have to. I don't know. It would have to be something really boring. I think. Just like I guess it could make everyone mad enough if it's just something not that interesting.
Raichu.
Yeah, just kind of.
Right. Yeah, a Pokemon. That might do it too. A lot of people would be pretty darn upset if it's just kind of a Pokemon. It's just like
not even like one from a generation that isn't represented yet. Just like, it's another Gen 1.
More Gen 1 rep.
Or just like a Sword and Shield one. Just like one of the newer ones. It's just kind of like, because we're promoting Pokemon, right? It's like, I can't remember their names. I'm like trying to think. What are the names of the Pokemons from the Sword and Shield? I can't remember. Oh well. Whatever you're talking about is incredible. But now it's time for a word from our sponsor. So we've been working hard to find sponsors for Arlocast, and this week we've finally got something. This episode of Arlocast is brought to you by Lorraine Arnold's Yard Sale. If you're looking for great prices on used clothes, children's toys, various knickknacks, mostly unbroken furniture, and workout DVDs, head on down to Lorraine's. Women's blouses, $1 each. Tom Clancy novels, 2 for $1. You can't miss these deals. This Sunday, after church, on the corner of 8th and Walnut in Anderson, California. Lorraine isn't actually paying me for this ad, but she did say I can keep any of the stuff that doesn't sell by the end of the day, and I've got my eye on that 300-piece cats playing tennis puzzle. And now, back to Barry Kramer and Lockstin.
It was something you mentioned, Arlo, when you're introducing Lockstin, that you can defend any Pokemon. I want you to defend my least favorite Pokemon for me real quick.
Oh yeah, this is good, yeah.
Oh, just off the top of my head? Okay.
I really, and apparently this is controversial, at least in my streams, I really dislike Flygon. I dislike their design. I dislike their aesthetic. I don't like how they have round, goggly eyeballs and a very rounded shape, but then have these harsh parallelograms all over the rest of their design. Their wings are just diamond shapes. I don't like it.
Huh. I'm so neutral on Flygon.
Yeah,
so neutral.
I know Flygon has a ton of like way diehard fans, but I just kind of see it as like, yeah, it's a regular kind of Pokemon. It's very middling for me. Well, it's an antlion. That's something neat.
So do you have the lore?
Yeah.
Do you have any of that lined up?
That's why it evolves from Trapinch originally, because.
Well, that's the thing is, I adore Trapinch. Trapinch is like a wonderful, wholesome egg. But then it hatches into Flygon, and I'm like, oh god, go back, please.
Yeah, I really like Vibrava.
Yeah, so what's the deal? Give us the lore.
Off the top of my head, I know there are certain species of dragonflies that are called sand dragons, and there's like, I think it's from one of the South American deserts. There's like a myth about a dragonfly that makes sand tornadoes or something like that, and it's based on that, and the reason it has the goggle eyes is because they're sand goggles. Nothing about this really has to do with the design in particular. It's kind of just like if a dragonfly had like a Puff the Magic Dragon body.
Yeah.
Flygon's popular enough. I could totally just send you a video that I make when I do eventually do that.
Please do. I mean, it was like, I'm not very deep in Pokemon. I'm very, very much a Gen 1er. Grew up playing Blue, and then sort of took a hiatus until Sword and Shield. But I was just talking about Pokemon in stream, and Flygon came up, and I was like, I don't like it. And apparently that's controversial. So I want it to be convinced otherwise. And you've given me much to think about on this day.
Lockstin, what percentage of the Pokemon? Because, I mean, I imagine you probably don't get super deep into it until you're, making a video about it. But, what percentage would you say you have a pretty good idea of, their origins?
Well, I've done a series where, I just very briefly explained the origins of every single Pokemon.
Oh.
So, I've done a little bit of research into each one, but plenty of them have enough depth that I could not possibly go into it in a video like that. And I feel like Flygon on surface level is just kind of that. It's a generic dragon that you put dragonfly elements onto. But I know there has to be more to it because it's neat. I don't know.
Yeah, well, you already had more than I expected. I didn't know any of that. You brought up all sorts of stuff I'd never heard of.
I know that also probably has something to do with why it has diamonds and parallelograms all over it. Because even Vibrava has diamond wings, and that might have to do with the local culture that myth comes from. But I don't know. I haven't looked into it too much specifically beyond it's an antlion and a dragon.
Well, sorry to put you on the spot, but thank you.
No problem.
No, that was good. No, you know what? You know what's happening right now? This is a fun game.
Crossover.
If you have a general knowledge of all these things, this is a new segment. It's called Make Lockstin Explain the Origins of Pokemon. We're doing this. We're doing this right now. It's my turn.
Okay.
We're gonna go around the circle. Okay, let me think of a Pokemon. Give me something on Lickitung that's not just a guy with a tongue.
Oh, the Amagama Shinchi. It's something like that. It's a yokai that sticks its tongue out and has one claw on each foot, which is exactly what Lickitung does. And it's also why Lickitung's Pokedex entry in one of the earlier games talks about it using its tongue to clean things, because that yokai specifically would use its tongue, which is longer than its body, to lick around bathrooms, because it's weird like that.
Disgusting, and I'm so glad you had all that.
And also it's an iguanodon, which, iguanas have really long tongues. Well, the dinosaur didn't, but they thought it did because it was ancient people that were I say ancient, I mean 1800s. They were it's an iguanodon because it has one toe, so it's an iguana. It must have had an iguana tongue also. It didn't. But they thought it did. And so if you take that yokai and you mix it with an iguanodon, you get Lickitung.
That's good. This is amazing. I like this.
That's a lot more than just long tongue is long.
Yeah,
wow.
No, and that's the thing about Pokemon is I never really appreciated. I mean, I would bring up Lickitung as an example of a bad Pokemon. When people make fun of the new ones, just be come on, Lickitung. He's a guy who licks you with his tongue. But there you go. There's more to it. Barry, your turn.
I already went. You want me to do another one?
I want another one. This is a segment now. This is an official part of the show.
Okay. Give me something about Seal other than it's a seal.
Oh, he just did a whole video on this one.
Conveniently.
Wait, really? Really?
Yeah,
Whole video.
a month or two ago, yeah.
Okay, lay it on me. Give me the cliff notes.
So Seal and Dugong, they both kind of don't have the proper body structures for what they are. They're basically if you took an actual dugong and you mixed it with a beluga, and then you took all of the mythology that belugas pull from, which is sirens and mermaids and stuff, and took their singing powers and put them onto Seal and Dugong. And also what's noteworthy is that Seal's original pose, its sprites in the early games, its tail makes the top of a fountain shape. And that's as simply as I can put it.
See, that's a good detail.
What?
Yeah,
There's
the
more.
The fountain thing, that kind of blew my mind. That's a small detail I would not have noticed.
Seal's just a seal with a cone hat. What?
Oh yeah, and the reason it has
No, it's a whole video. I saw it. It's good.
the reason it has its tongue sticking out and the teeth and all that is because it's a bulldog. Because seals, people say seals are dogs of the sea and have for centuries. Its Japanese name is pow wow, which is the sound the dogs make, because it's a dog.
Oh my god. I need to go watch that video.
This is good. Okay, we'll do a couple. I could do this all day. This is very fun. But let's just do a couple more. It's too fun. It's like a party trick.
I'm a nerd.
We all are.
It's I want to find one that's really weird, but my mind keeps taking me to ones that are kind of simple because I want to know if it goes deeper than that. Gosh, do you have another one, Barry?
I mean, well, for me, my favorite Pokemon is Ditto because it's a blob with a smiley face.
That's about all there is really to Ditto.
I imagine that Ditto has some dark, sordid past that I don't want to know about, so maybe I shouldn't ask.
Well, there's the whole like Mew theory thing.
Yeah, I know about that. He's just so happy, and I don't want to take that from him.
Yeah, that makes sense.
I think Ditto is basically it's just a blob that transforms. It is actually one of the simpler ones.
Yes, sweet,
Oh.
I found one.
Well, there you go. Good. I'm trying to think of one that's not Gen 1. My mind goes to Gen 1, obviously.
Again, I'm a Gen 1er, so yeah, that's
Let me at
most
least
of
go.
what I know.
Let me at least go Gen 2. Give me Ampharos. Always loved that one.
Well, Ampharos, its Pokedex entries say that it is a dragon, or it has the blood of a dragon. And that's why Mega Ampharos becomes dragon type. And that has to do with a Welsh myth about a dragon that disguises itself as a sheep. So, like, making a sheep a dragon, which is also like it's not the national animal of Wales, but they have a dragon on their flag because the two of those are like super deep and important to each other. And the whole line also sort of pulls from Do Androids Dream of Electric Sheep? It's like a famous quote.
Oh, okay.
Philip K. Dick.
Yeah.
Wow. That is deep.
Ampharos is also, it's a Greek lighthouse. It gets part of its name from, because in the game, Ampharos is used to power a lighthouse. And I think that's all I can remember. There's probably more.
That's good.
I didn't even touch the jewels that it has. I don't remember what those are from, though. I think it's from a Chinese dragon thing.
That's good. That's another good answer. Should we do one more, Barry?
Why don't you take the last one, Arlo?
That was the best one I had. Okay, well, I'll do another like simple one if you tell me if there's anything deeper. Hypno. What's more than just a guy hypnotizing you?
Well, Drowsy is a Baku, which is a yokai that is a tapir that eats people's dreams, which is just literally what Drowsy is. Like, it is kind of simple in that it's just literally a yokai. But then Hypno, I think, just sort of pulls from a proboscis monkey goblin thing, and it uses hypnosis.
Oh, so it is kind of simple.
I think it is kind of one of the simpler ones.
That means I stumped you. We win, Barry. We got him.
Oh, it was a competition. Yay.
Apparently it was. We got him. Okay, well, that was a lot of fun. We're definitely playing that next time you come on. That's
Sure.
too good. So now, back to the news. I don't really have anything else. The only other thing I jotted down was that Giles Goddard F-Zero prototype. I don't know if either of you are F-Zero fans or
I love it.
cared about that at all.
Sure. What happened?
Well, yeah, the Giles Goddard, he worked on some Nintendo game. He worked on like Star Fox 64, kind of like most famously, like that, like Ocarina of Time. And he says that he actually pitched a prototype to Nintendo for the Switch of a, quote, like ultra realistic F-Zero game where there were just like hundreds of cars on the tracks, and it was kind of like physics based with like the 4 thrusters that you have, so cars were kind of flying all over the place, and Nintendo didn't want to.
Oh.
My heart.
I played an obscene amount of F-Zero GX on the GameCube.
Same.
I'm glad I got some F-Zero fans on here. Good luck.
Yeah, well, good luck to us all. 'Cause, yeah, I've kind of long given up hope of there being a new one. And that just makes me sad that there was actually at least a pitch. But
Yeah, I mean, it was a prototype and everything. I don't know if anyone can see this anywhere, but like he pitched it to Nintendo and I think they had it working, is what it sounds like. But then Nintendo was like, "You need more people to make this," and he was like, "Okay, can you give us more money then?" And they were like, "No, we're not going to give you more money unless you have more people." And it's just like they're just weird.
I mean, with the way they kind of treated DLC for Mario Kart 8, I think they're just going to turn Mario Kart into Smash Bros. Racer. And
I hope so.
F-Zero has less and less relevance in that world.
It's so
as
different,
having its own
though.
identity. It's very different,
It's
but
such a different thing.
I don't think Nintendo sees it that way. I think they're like, cars go fast.
Racing.
We already have that. It's like, no, they're very different games and they feel different. But yeah, Nintendo's always talked about how, they don't want to make the same game again. If it's a sequel, it needs to bring something new to the table, unless it's New Super Mario Bros. 2. So
Unless
I
it's
think
a
with
lot of
F-Zero,
games.
Yeah, a lot of. I mean, they break the rule all the time. But with a franchise that doesn't have a whole lot of love, it's like, yeah, I don't. What are they going to add to F-Zero? It's such a simple template of You know, especially in GX where you get boost power in the second lap and then it eats up your shields when you boost too much. It's like, that works so well. And I'm sure they can throw some stuff on top of it because I've never thought too hard about what they would do, but...
Well, off the top of my head, online play.
Oh,
That would be big.
Yeah, I feel like that's enough, like HD graphics and stuff, or like this idea with like the hundreds of cars in the track of this. Those all seem like fine ideas to me personally.
It's a battle royale. Now is the time.
Exactly.
I don't trust Nintendo to handle an online game with that number of things going that fast.
That's
I just
true.
played Mario Golf online, and like golf shouldn't have slowdown, and yet here we are.
I've actually been lucky with that. My experiences with Mario
Well, I was
Golf.
playing with Australians, so that's probably on me
Yeah, maybe.
or on them. I'm gonna put it on them. It's not. How dare they live far
How
away?
dare they? The gall.
I don't know. The thing that's baffled me the most, this is my very brief tangent, is Clubhouse 52 Games. That game lags in the menus. It syncs the menu between everyone. So you're playing a card game and it's like, hold on, you pressed right? Well, make sure that everyone knows you're switching to your next card. And now you can look at your next card. I'm like, it's a card game. This should all be on the client side. Why is this syncing to everyone? I'm mad at how Nintendo does netcode.
Pokemon Sword and Shield, literally a turn-based game, and they
Turn-based?
still messed it up. I can't connect to
How?
anyone, like ever.
Yeah, I don't know. So something like F-Zero, like moving fast, cars everywhere, explosions bouncing all over the walls, like it makes me scared if they're like, it's an online racer, but I'll take it because if it has F-Zero brand on it, I will buy. I don't think with brain, I think with brand.
It's a great way of putting it.
Don't we all at the end of the day?
Well, it's a little bit of that, like, I want to put my money where my mouth is. Like, I will buy Earthbound Beginnings, even though I don't have a lot of interest in playing Mother 1, if it just helps nudge, like, maybe bring Mother 3 to the West, even though it's never going to happen. But
Hey, I got a little game for you to buy. It's called Metroid Dread. Spread the
yeah,
news.
I'm buying that.
Spread the
I just
word.
replayed Fusion for the first time since, like, it came out-ish.
Oh, wow.
Because, yeah, I'm on that hype train as well.
Yeah, I need to go through all... I bring that up every week, though. I need to go through all the games.
I know. I I heard you specifically mention, like, more Metroid talks. I'm like, okay, I'll just put my hand slowly back onto my desk.
Do you... Okay, well, I mean, if you got, like... Give us, like, the brief rundown. And just anything you want to say about Metroid, real briefly.
Okay, Metroid good.
That's good. All right.
Agreed.
I yield the rest of my time.
Anything... Anything from you, Lockstin, about Metroid?
I really like it. It's really good.
Ooh, that was like 3 times longer.
I know, I'm sorry.
That's all right. Still pretty good, though. Okay, well, if that's it for, like, various news items and fun Pokemon-related games, I think it is time we move on to listener questions. The first question this week comes from Alexander Jordan, who asks, what game series would you like to see have a concert celebrating its music similar to the Sonic Symphony? That's a good question. Lockstin, let's start with you.
Oh gosh, that is on the spot.
It's hard. That's a hard one.
Well, I really like the music of, because I know like Final Fantasy and Pokemon have also already done it. My next thought was immediately Undertale, which I know has also already done it. I think Zelda's done it already too.
Oh yeah, they quite famously.
Mm-hmm.
Skip me. Come back to me later.
All right, Barry, what do you got?
All right, I got 2.
All right.
I don't know if they've been done. Maybe they have. Katamari Damacy,
Oh,
Ooh,
yeah.
that'd be a good one.
especially if they get like guest musicians who did the soundtrack to do stuff, vocals. Another one, Shovel Knight.
Oh, good one.
I would love an orchestration of that soundtrack. I think there are some tracks that have been orchestrated. If I'm
probably,
not
I'm
making
sure.
it up, but to have like a live performance and just see like a little Shovel Knight bouncing around would be fun.
Yeah, Katamari, that's a good one. I just recently, there's that Game Chops album, that like Katamari, Dance With Me Katamari or whatever. And like the first one is just like this really awesome remix of the main theme, and I just blast it full volume. It's so good.
Yes, it's amazing.
That is one of my favorite just game themes. Like I haven't even been that fan of a game for that long. I got it on Switch and I really like it, but just something about that theme song. Oh, it's just so uplifting and fun. It's amazing.
If you like it, look up the soundtrack to the sequel, which I don't believe has been ported off the PS2. We love Katamari.
I really want it. I hear that's the best one.
Yeah, definitely.
It's real good.
I want it so bad.
Katamari Forever is also really good, but I feel like if We Love Katamari, the second one, was made HD, it would be the best one for sure.
Oh, I hope they do.
Katamari Forever is the only reason I have PlayStation now. Like, that is it. I have to play it every year.
Forever. One of us. My answer, it's tough. I'm kind of split between, because I mean, like, yeah, like you got to look at not just what series you like, but what like has really good music and would make a really good orchestration. I'm close to saying Paper Mario, and that would include the modern music. You know, there's a lot of good music throughout, but I think I have to settle on Metroid.
Oh,
it would be very epic, and cool. I mean, it's perfect for the orchestration and all that. Yeah, that'd be fun.
There's a lot of texture you could get out of an orchestra for that.
Yeah, for sure. What do you got, Lockstin?
I think Nier Automata. Or just Nier and Nier Automata, for sure. Like, even just the recordings is just, chills. You get chills when you, like, actually sit down and listen to it. So just imagining being in a concert hall with, like, a full live orchestra and all that. My goodness.
That's a really good answer.
That's good. I've not really dug into that soundtrack, but I've heard very good things.
It is that would lend itself really well to a live orchestra. It's it's a very powerful, melancholy soundtrack.
Powerful melancholy. I like that. So let's move on to the next question. The Bacon Bot asks, who's your favorite Nintendo villain? I will go first.
Honestly, Bowser.
It's Bowser. Yeah, it's Bowser. He's just so fun. He's so fun. He's so evil, but there's such a there's a good-naturedness about him. He's just hilarious. Every game where he opens his mouth, he's so funny. He's just which is funny because like Mario is a character. He's the most iconic Nintendo character, but like I don't care that much about Mario himself. Bowser though, I'm all about.
Absolutely.
I was gonna try to be clever and be like, here's a random character, but I think it is Bowser. I was originally, my first thought was Waluigi, but he's never really had an opportunity to actually be a villain. So
not really.
Bowser.
So it's Bowser. 3 on the Bowser. Very nice. I'm sure Nintendo will be very happy with that answer. Final question comes from Luffa. Can you play an instrument? Barry, what about you?
Yeah.
All right. Next on to Lockstin. No, just kidding. What do you play?
I play a lot of like guitar and ukulele. I have a mandolin and a banjo that I technically know how to play, but don't really.
Fun.
Lots of stuff. Yeah.
Cool. Awesome. What about you, Lockstin?
I know how to play the trumpet, but not because I wanted to, but because I had to learn an instrument for school, and so I learned the trumpet. And I still know how, but not particularly because I want to.
It's a tough instrument, from what I know.
It seemed really tough. Any of those, like any like wind instrument, you got to control your breath. Like I get out of breath just thinking about it.
Mm-hmm. I probably come to think of it, I probably couldn't anymore. COVID gave me a lot of lung scarring, so like.
Oh man.
Oof.
I did saxophone in 6th grade, and then I bailed off of that and learned guitar because I was like, yeah, I don't like being out of breath. And also with the guitar, you can sing Wonderwall, so you know.
Exactly.
Hang out on the college
get
quad.
The girls.
Get the girls.
Gotta see about a girl. He didn't even play guitar in that movie. I don't even know why. Okay. My answer.
What about you? Yeah.
The instrument I've played most is the guitar. I've not really in a long time. Every once in a while I'll pick it up a little bit. In college, you know, the guitar playing time when you want to be cool and play guitar. I was pretty into it then. I really loved the idea. I still do love the idea of being in a rock band. I think that'd be super cool. Most of I was never really that good, but I played pretty heavily at that time. And then beyond that, I've messed with drums and piano. I'm kind of like, I'm not going to say like I'm good at drums, but it kind of comes naturally to me. So I think if I practiced, I might be okay at drums. But like I know how to play them. And then like piano, I know like some of the basics, you know, like I can kind of work my way around an instrument and kind of like, you know, throughout the years I've made little silly songs and stuff for videos, and you know, I can kind of like fake it and kind of put a song together, scrape it all together, note by note, you know?
Mm-hmm. That's awesome.
Yeah.
I do miss the guitar.
I like being able to record stuff for use in videos and streams and stuff. Nothing technically complex, but like just enough.
Yeah, I'm surprised. I feel like most of my projects before this channel, I ended up doing a bunch of music for. And I've been doing this for like 7 years, and I just happened to have never come up with an opportunity where I'm like, oh, I need a silly song for this. It just hasn't happened, and I don't know why. I did so many songs for my other things, so I'm waiting for the opportunity to do that. I actually, I want to get into music production. I just kind of recently realized and now it's really a whole tangent. Life's short, and I love music. I did the midlife crisis thing. I got myself a synthesizer.
Yes.
Nice.
I did it. I don't know how to use it, but I got it, and I hope I know how to use it someday so I can make some kind of music, but I did it.
I'm just picturing, like, normally, the midlife crisis thing is getting, like, a motorcycle or a sports car. So you're like, honey, look what I got, and you walk them out to the driveway, and there's just this small little synthesizer in the driveway. I did it.
With the big red bow on it.
With a big red bow, and you got car keys for it for some reason. Unlock it.
No, that's the midlife crisis when you're a, like, work-at-home YouTuber.
Yeah, exactly, yeah.
Hopefully I'm not quite midlife yet. Good questions. Thank you, everybody, for your questions. Next week, if you want to ask questions, be sure to follow at Arlo Stuff. We always make, not at Arlo Stuff, that's my regular one, at Arlocast. We do a little tweet and asking for questions, so go do that. We're moving on to the last few segments of the episode. First, we have What You Been Playing? Barry, what you been playing? Just what games you been playing recently?
So in my spare time, well, I've been, like, periodically I bounce back to Hitman 3. I've been playing the new content drops every month or so they've been doing for that. Been playing an uptick of Sea of Thieves.
Oh, yeah.
With some friends, having some Yarhar pirate adventures. Enjoying that. They put out the Pirates of the Caribbean stuff last week, which is really neat. And on stream, I mentioned I played through Metroid Fusion. I just finished the playthrough of Psychonauts because I'm really excited for Psychonauts 2 in a couple months.
Never played that. It's been on my Steam forever. I just never done it.
It holds up better than I thought it would. I was like, oh, the controls and the camera are going to be awful. If you kind of know about the game, like it holds up surprisingly well. I think it's a very, very playable game, and it's still very fun and imaginative. Check it out.
I gotta.
And it's not super long either. Just nudging you. You can play it.
That's what I like to hear.
Yeah.
Not super long.
There's lots of optional stuff. We can be like, nope, don't care. Just going to the end of the level. Yeah, I think that's about it for me.
Good. What about you, Lockstin?
I played through Doom Eternal again, because it's one of my favorite games of all time. I just picked up Spellforce 3 at the Steam sale, and I'm really enjoying it. It's like if Baldur's Gate was an RTS also kind of game, which is really cool. And I also just finished playing Sakuna of Rice and Ruin, which is like a rice-growing farm sim crossed with a 2D hack and slash. So sort of like Rune Factory, except Japan-themed. It was super good. I super recommend it. I just picked it up on a whim. Like, oh, I like the art on this, and then I looked at the pictures on the back of the box, and oh, this looks cute, I'll pick it up. Never heard of it before. It's been so long since I've done that with a game.
Never heard of it before? No, it was a pretty big,
was it a
fairly
big
large release at the time. It wasn't massive, but like it was there.
Yeah, I had just never heard of it. I just thought it looked cute, so I picked it up, and I enjoyed it enough to play it all the way through.
Nice.
Very much a big recommend. I want to do that with more games. It's so hard to find games you know nothing about that you end up actually liking too. Because I follow trailers, you know?
Yeah,
don't know how
you
want to
look at the reviews, and is this game worth $2 on sale? Let me go check.
Yeah. But it was a very pleasant surprise. I should do that more often.
I didn't know it had the farming sims. I don't really know what the game is about at all. I didn't know it had that stuff in it. That sounds kind of cool.
It's pretty neat. You like grow a rice field, and you're leveling up of your character is entirely dependent on how well you grow the rice, because you're a rice goddess.
Oh, that's fun.
So, like, you don't level up by grinding and destroying the monsters, you level up by farming good, and now you're strong enough to take on the next set of monsters and stuff. It's super cool.
It sounds neat.
That is fun. Since last week, at least, the only thing I have touched is Mario Golf Super Rush. And, it's been fun. Yeah, it's been fun. I've been enjoying it. I think I've played it just about enough for the review, so I started writing that today. And it's a good time. I haven't been able to play with friends yet. It would be fun. I'm sure, and it's one of those things where I'm going to say, you know what, I'm going to play with my friends, and then I'm going to finish the review, and then I'm going to move on, and I will never touch it again.
I'm the opposite. I've played with friends, but I haven't touched the single player stuff yet.
It's pretty all right. It's really funny.
Is that the whole review? Spoiler.
It's pretty good. It's golf.
In ways, it's better than the tennis one. The tennis one was really disappointing. But it's still disappointing in a lot of ways. I'm pretty torn on. It's good. I mean, it's fun. It's good. That's right.
I beat the tennis single player and was just like, this went places I was not expecting. So I'm curious to see how they do with golf.
It was just so short. This one is a lot longer, but that's probably because it's got a lot more filler. But it's the kind of filler that I like, you know? Like talking to people, running around.
Oh, cool.
Whereas like tennis was just kind of like just nodes on the map and you just kind of go.
Yeah, that's what I expected the golf to be. Okay, cool.
No, yeah, it's a lot more like story-ish.
I might have to check it out.
Yeah, it's a good time though. Well, that's it for what we've all been playing. It's time for the final segment. What you been eating? Lockstin, what you been eating? You're familiar with this because we did this on episode 0, right?
Yeah. Oh, we just picked up a like pressure cooker instant pot kind of thing.
Oh yeah.
So we've been experimenting with that. Super good so far. Like making curry that's normally supposed to sit overnight in like 3 hours instead, and it's just as good. The power of technology is amazing.
Nice. Good answer. That sounds very good. What about you, Barry? What you been eating? Even if it's just like one notable meal recently.
Well, I can say that I'm I don't know if there's a word for it. It's like the opposite of a green thumb for the kitchen. Like I'm a terrible cook. I don't know what I'm doing, and I don't put in the time to learn anything. But I did recently make a pizza in the oven that was mostly pre-made, but I warmed it and I didn't burn it.
Good job.
Yeah.
You gotta start somewhere.
Thank you. I'm very proud of myself.
That's good. Excellent. I haven't had a lot of highlight. Well, that's the thing is like I used to have like one super good answer whenever I did this segment for the Patreon Arlocast, but now like it's only a week, so like okay, what was the best thing this week? Best thing this week. I just kind of like last night. I wanted something kind of healthy, so I threw together just like ground turkey, broccoli, some edamame, made kind of like a teriyaki-ish kind of thing. Just kind of threw it all in a pot together. I got this cauliflower rice from Costco, threw that in there. It was pretty good. Just kind of like a big mishmash of stuff.
It sounds good.
Yeah.
I've gotten in on that cauliflower rice train. There's a lot you can do with it.
This was my first time. I was skeptical, and I think the only thing that sold me is that it's like fried rice thing. You know, it's got like corn and carrots and sauce, and it's got like stuff in it. So I was like, all right, if you're gonna put flavor, because I've never done like I've never riced it myself. Very skeptical of how much I'll like that. But if they put all the stuff in there, it's pretty good. You fry it
by
up.
itself, it can be pretty bland. But yeah, you put some stuff in there.
Yeah.
It becomes a vehicle for the flavor.
Yeah, it's a decent little replacement for fried rice if you're looking for something low carb.
I have it like 3 times a week.
I can imagine. He's our keto guy.
Yeah.
Nice.
Locks, I've learned much. I actually, each time I go to Costco and I'm like looking at something that's saying it's low carb, I'm like texting him about
It's
it.
true.
Be like, is this real? Is this a thing?
Half the time it's marketing BS, but there's always some truth to it.
Exactly. Like I can usually tell when it is gonna be nonsense, but like how much truth? Like how can I believe like a percentage of this? It is fun though, the low carb stuff. I won't go off on the whole entire tangent, but like people don't realize just how many options there really are and how fun it can be and how many awesome foods you can make when you just kind of focus. You know?
Yeah, and there seems to be more and more options every day.
I did make I made my own kind of, because like I've looked up recipes on like low carb pizza crust, but it's always like almost all egg. And that's so, anything just made of a bunch of egg always ends up just tasting like overdone egg to me. And that's really gross. So I kind of like threw together my own version that was just like coconut flour, almond flour, and like maybe 1 egg and a little cheese too. They'll make a whole crust made out of cheese. That's disgusting.
Oh, I love it. That's my favorite thing.
That sounds excellent.
It's too much cheese. You put cheese on top of it.
There's no such thing. No such thing.
I didn't think that until, I don't know. It's just...
I used to be
It's too
naive
much.
like you.
Makes me in almost every other situation, you'll never hear me say too much cheese. Like, never. But when, like, it's cheese and the carrier is cheese and it's just you're eating nothing but mouthfuls of cheese for a whole meal,
I know what I'm doing for dinner.
I draw the line.
We made a keto Alfredo one time, and it was homemade noodles, and the noodles were 90% just cheese. And then you put a cheese milk sauce on the noodles, and then you put Parmesan cheese on top of that. So it's like 95% of the food is dairy. Not for the lactose intolerant, but it was so good.
Oh, it sounds great.
I can't, that's too much. How do you, I mean, like, I don't want to risk bumping up the rating again, but, like,
the
how
farts.
do you move?
The
How do you
farts were
move certain
intense.
parts of you? If you
I wasn't
Man.
gonna say it.
no, I can't. That's too much cheese. I'm sorry. I can't do it. My quest turned out pretty good, though. I think people on Twitter were asking me for the recipe. I might have thrown it on there. But yeah, it was really just like throw together the flours and just some like one egg and like some cheese and kind of heat it up a little bit and just kind of mash it together. It's okay. It's really not bad. It was a decent little carrier for the other stuff.
Yeah.
Well, you know what? I think it's happened. I think the conversation has dried up. The segments have run out. We're all horribly sick of each other and hungry and have to go to the bathroom. I assume.
One of those is true.
I'm starving. The thing is, I've talked about this in previous episode. I can't really eat like too close before recording because then I get like gurgly and I just kind of like, like I can't do it. But like I forgot I had the leftovers of that turkey stuff in the fridge and I didn't eat it. And then when I realized how hungry I was already a few hours before this. So I'm starving. I'm ravenous. It's 4 p.m. and I haven't eaten today.
This is why you need to get into streaming, because it'll just lower all of your standards for production quality, because you have to. It's impossible.
Yeah, you just do it. Just, all right, you're all going to watch and listen to me eat. Let me turn up the mic.
Yeah, nothing but mouth noises now. Welcome to the newest segment of Arlocast, Mouth Noises.
Nope, not happening. I don't want to hear what the music would sound like for that. All right. Well, I'll have like all the links and stuff to your channels and everything. But any final words? Where can people reach you? Anything? Last thing to say, Lockstin?
At Lockstin on Twitter, or Lockstin and Gnoggin on YouTube. That's me.
Perfect. Good answer. Very good answer. Barry, what about you?
I'm on Twitch. Barry is streaming. I have a VOD channel on YouTube. Barry was streaming. And my main YouTube
good.
channel I upload to once or twice a year is Barry Kramer. And you can subscribe and destroy the bell. So if I actually upload, you'll know when it happens.
If you're lucky, because that's how YouTube...
If you're lucky, if you're very good, then you'll get a video.
That's YouTube for you. Well, thank you guys so much for being on. I hope you enjoyed yourselves.
Yeah.
I had a great time. Thanks for having me.
Yes, and now is where everybody looks at the camera and waves. I don't know why I do this every time. I didn't even want to establish it as a joke, but now we're doing it. Everybody
I'm
say
waving.
goodbye.
I'm
You gotta
waving.
be like,
Goodbye.
Bye, and
Bye.
wave.
Wave.
Bye.
Bye.
And that, my friends, is the end of another episode of Arlocast. A clean month's worth of episodes in the can, and it feels good. One final thanks to our guests, Barry Kramer and Lockstin. Be sure to follow at Arlocast on Twitter for updates and to submit questions, etc. This episode was edited and produced by Chris Jones. All the music you have been enjoying was created by Northnen. The Arlocast logo was created by Mario Castañeda. Links to all socials, channels, etc. for all guests and artists, along with an address for business inquiries, can be found in the show notes. As with all things I do, I am supported in part by my Patreon patrons, so an extra special thank you to them. Thanks again for listening, and we'll catch you next time on Arlocast.